take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
It's time!
It's Sunday, January 17th, 2021. This is the Church of MMA podcast. My name is Tabor Cragen.
My name is Mason Knight. This is episode 56, Holloway versus Kattar recap. Then we jump into some MMA news, and then we talk about the highly anticipated fight between Chiesa and Magny.
Whew, can't wait for that.
But Tabor, where do we begin?
With our social media accounts, Mason, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, at the Church of MMA. Guys, if you aren't following us, make sure you go and do it. We're posting funny memes. We're trying to make you laugh. Also, a quick announcement. I have made us a Gab, so if you are affected by the purge, go follow us on Gab. I will be posting on that as much as I can. You know, it's hard with so many social media accounts, but go and follow us, guys.
Absolutely. And be sure to check out our YouTube channel, too. A big announcement. We just hit over 400 subscribers on our YouTube channel. We're up to 402. So we thank each and every one of you guys tuning in each and every week. Fans of the sport, just as we are. And be sure to go check out our Teespring merch store, where you can buy shirts like mine, like Tabor's, right? Hey, looks pretty good, isn't it? And they're very cheap, guys. They're very cost-effective. We're making just a couple dollars, and when I mean a couple dollars, I mean literally like $3 or $4. They're $15.99. But the point of this is, one, we love people wearing our merch, and two, we're trying to build a studio here. We'd like to have a multi-cam studio and do a few different things. So if you guys want a T-shirt, be sure to click that link in the description below. Yep. All right, all that shit out of the way, Tabor. Holy hell.
Well, let's start with the card in general, because, can you think of a better way to start off the year on ABC, a national, nationally televised, you know, one of the main channels, Channel 2 in our local area? Like, this is a big fucking deal. And to have a card of that magnitude, man, it's looking so good for the UFC right now.
Oh, man. I mean, we talk about it each and every week on this podcast, but they're on top of the world. We have never seen anything like this in combat sports. We are breaking, this sport is breaking records and new eyeballs. I'm telling you, there's not one single person who tuned in to that main event who never saw MMA before, never seen the UFC, right?
Yeah.
Who didn't watch that fight and was like, holy shit, I got to start watching this. Where was this sport? Where was this sport? And I feel like people get introduced to the sport like that all the time. You know, I talk about it frequently as well. The first time I ever saw a UFC event was UFC 98. Rashad Evans versus Lyoto Machida, and that changed my life. That changed my perspective, because before then, the NFL was my favorite sport. After that, UFC, MMA, favorite sport of all time, and I never looked back since then, man. And I feel like a lot of people are going to be doing that now.
Yeah, I mean, if you've never watched an MMA fight before and you came in, you went to Channel 2, oh shit, yeah, why not? I'll check it out. 3 straight first-round knockouts, and then back-to-back wars.
Wow.
And a beautiful performance in the main event. Let's get into that. Max Holloway versus Calvin Kattar. Oh my fucking God, dude. Like, I was blown away watching this performance. Blown away.
You know, it was so cool, man. I just watched film. We reviewed it. We'll be reviewing it tomorrow on our podcast for the Have You Seen It podcast called One Night in Miami, which had Muhammad Ali, Cassius Clay. And it was so cool to make this comparison. I saw this photo. I had to share it on social media because it was Max Holloway doing the shuck and dive kind of thing, the same thing that Muhammad Ali was doing. And it's so cool to see that, because Muhammad Ali used to fight on ABC. Mm-hmm. And then to have a main event of this magnitude and to put on a performance like Max Holloway did was absolutely incredible. He shattered records. 761 strikes were thrown in 5 rounds.
Insane.
That is insane. And he looked good. He was dancing around. I mean, he was dancing around, just having a good time.
Yes.
And dude, he was in the Matrix.
He was in the zone. He was Super Saiyan, whatever the fuck you want to say about it. He was showing that he is the best featherweight in the world, you know, Volkanovski.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just, no one puts on a performance like that. No one. I've never seen that in the octagon, man.
We have never seen a main event where he wins 3 rounds by 10-8.
Yes.
Never.
Insane. And I totally agree with those 10-8s.
So do I. I agree with, technically 2 judges had it 50-43, 50-43, but the 3rd judge had it 50-42. And you have an argument for that. You have an argument for that, man. This was the most the most dominant performance I've ever seen, especially in a number one contender spot too. And like, hats off to Calvin Kattar as well. He is the toughest motherfucker in the world. At that fourth round, I thought for sure, there's not a human alive who can withstand this barrage of just clean, precise striking of Max Holloway and not give up. But Calvin Kattar is a man. And dude, I'm telling you right now, he got his ass beat, obviously. He got outclassed. But dude, I am so impressed, and I hope Calvin Kattar moves up in people's, radar, because this guy deserves it. I have never seen someone take a beating like that and just been able to withstand that.
Yeah, I mean,
it was superhuman.
There were people making arguments online that maybe Herb Dean should have stepped in there when he was getting beat up against the fence.
I actually was saying that in the 5th round. I was like, you know what? I would not be upset if he was called he called this.
Yeah, and maybe you got to think behind the back of their head. This is ABC. We're on ABC. This is a big fight. This is a big moment. And even when Kattar was getting beat up to the body and he was smashing him against the fence, there were times Kattar would come out of it and throw a fucking massive elbow and land clean on Max perfectly with so much power. And Max just fucking ate them, dude. Yep. He was eating his shots like they were nothing. Zero respect for his power. Zero respect for his game overall. It was masterful.
And you are totally right on that, Tabor, because this whole fight, because everyone's freaking out. We were over at Zach's house and we were like, oh my gosh, 4th and 5th round.
I was freaking out.
But the thing with Calvin Kattar is you hit the nail on the head, man, is because even though he was getting completely outclassed and dominated, he was throwing from the gates of hell. Like, he could have put Max Holloway out. There was some pepper behind his shots in rounds 4 and 5 where, 100%. He was out of the fight. He was clearly losing. But, dude, it only takes one punch in this sport. And you're right, man. He did land a lot of clean shots when he was throwing.
There was times up against the fence, they were both fucking trading like madmen. And Max was just eating shots, and so was Kattar. It's just it was crazy. I mean, an early fight of the year contender, I think. I mean, even though it was such a one-sided performance and it was completely a domination, really, Calvin Kattar still made it interesting.
Yes,
he really did. So kudos to him, really.
Absolutely. And I just want to go back to Max Holloway again. There's a few things I want to touch up on. I feel like we're going to talk about this forever, but one of the craziest things, going back to Max Holloway being in the Matrix, I think it was round 4, round 5. He's literally, I've never seen this. I've actually never seen this to this extent, where he turns sideways to talk to the commentary table as he's dodging 3-4 punch combinations, dodging them like he is already seen. This is some Anderson Silva-esque at his prime, obviously. Anderson-esque dodging, where you're just like, how is this possible? And he's literally pointing over DC going, I'm the best boxer in the UFC. And I don't know how you deny that.
And then punched him in the fucking face he dodged at the same time. Dude, I've never seen that.
Well, and then he turned back to Calvin Kattar, and then he's like, what? Putting his hands down. Kattar throws a jab, and he goes, whoop.
Yeah, and he goes, I'm the best boxer in the UFC. And then he's like, freshman came to play because, he talked about how Calvin Kattar was saying, in the boxing ring, I'm a fucking senior, and he's a freshman.
Yep.
And I'm going to beat him up like one. And he goes, freshman came to play, motherfucker, and then hit him up with a 5-piece combo. It was beautiful, dude. I mean, I'm going to say that over and over and over again. That was masterclass performance.
Yes.
He is the true number one contender.
Unquestionably.
With a performance like that, he does straight up deserve another title shot, I believe.
Okay, so this is what I wanted to bring up. Dana White came out after this fight, and, I was a little worried for Max just because, Dana White can sometimes want to go a different way with the division, and even though someone has a crazy win, he might say something else, right? Because Dana's known to do that sometimes.
Yeah.
And, but no. Dana White was clear-cut and concise. He said after that performance and that domination, Max Holloway deserves the next title shot after the Brian Ortega, Brian Ortega Alexander Volkanovski fight. And I love that either way. Here's the thing, dude. That second Alexander Volkanovski fight was so close. I thought Max Holloway won that fight, but I get the argument from the other side.
Yeah, I flip-flop on that fight. Yeah. I should watch it over again so I can get a more concrete idea. But, I flip-flop back and forth on that fight.
And that's okay. But... one, it doesn't matter who wins that fight. Max Holloway's got to be the guy. He beat Brian Ortega. He dismantled Brian Ortega.
And I think he does that to Brian Ortega 2.0 again.
Really?
I think so again. You know, Brian Ortega 2.0 looked very impressive against Korean Zombie. You know, I'm glad we brought him up. But I do believe the performance, like Max Holloway just did that. It's not like he did that to a fucking jiu-jitsu guy.
Yeah.
He did that to a guy who supposedly is the best boxer in this division and has some of the scariest striking in this division. And if you're going to completely one-sided dismantle him like that, it's like, I think he is without a doubt the best striker in this division. The only person where hasn't found that type of success so far is Volkanovski.
Yep. And I think that's a combination of just Alexander Volkanovski's legs.
Yeah, well,
and his leg kicks and his
overall game. I mean, he's
leg.
got such a great wrestling game as well. He threatens the takedown. So, I mean, it's just, there's so many more mental barriers with just that alone. So, it's just such an interesting matchup. I think Volkanovski beats Ortega here in March. You know, that's supposedly in the works. We'll talk about that later. I think you have to give Max Holloway the shot after that fight, dude. You know,
there's no one else.
No one else. I mean, I'm not saying don't do a Max Holloway versus Zabit Magomedsharipov if they want to do a fight like that for a co-main event on a pay-per-view. If Volkanovski wants to take a year off or some shit, who knows? If Max wants to stay active and do the fight like that, I'm cool with that. I think fucking Max pieces up Zabit.
I'm not.
There's no point though.
No,
there really is no point.
Zabit doesn't compete. Whoa, Zabit doesn't compete with the Max Holloway. I'm sorry. It's just. I've seen Zabit. I've seen him.
Kattar was coming on in that third round.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If there's rounds 4 and 5 with Zabit, he's not making it. His cardio isn't there. Max Holloway was fresh after 5 rounds, after breaking the record of strikes thrown in a main event fight.
So
761 strikes. Folks, that is unheard of. That's insane. It shattered Colby Covington's record. Shattered it. Like,
Colby ain't ever getting that close, dude.
I don't know if we're ever going to see that many strikes thrown in a fight ever again by one single fighter. I don't think so. I mean, that was insane. What an performance.
It was insane. And let's talk about what he said afterwards. He said he's staying in Abu Dhabi and he wants to be there for any of those fights if they fall out at 155. Yep. I fucking love Max. It's not happening, but I love Max. It's the mentality. You know, he's 100% down. This man wanted to fight Khabib on a week's notice, and he was going to do it, and then moved up and fought Dustin Poirier. I mean, he's just a man, and he's such a good guy. You know,
I love Max.
I love Max. I can't wait for his future. I would not be shocked if he gets a title shot right away. We'll see. I guess we'll have to wait and see with Volkanovski. Volkanovski's been pretty vocal about not wanting to fight Max again. Yeah. So,
but tough shit, brother. I mean, tough shit. If you're the champion, look, if you are the champion, and I don't care if you beat the guy twice, if he's the cut #1 contender, then you fight him again.
Yeah.
You want to know why? Because you're champ, and you got to take on these #1 contenders, period.
Yeah. Or you move up, or you move down or something. Yeah, it's the only way.
And it's Max Holloway. This is a very unique situation where that second fight was razor close. I'll pay $70 just for that one fight.
Yeah, for this main event. Yeah. Yep. 100%. 100% agree with that. All right, so let's talk a little bit of our bets. I put a 300 church coin or false currency on Kattar, lost all of it. I was out there on a little bit of a limb, but you know what? It would have been a nice return if we had a little bit of success, but there wasn't much.
Yeah, so I put 600 church coin on Max Holloway at a -165 return. So I profited 364 coins with a total of 964 with the initial bet as well. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
So I won 364, so I'm adding that to the 600 because I get the 600 back.
Yeah, it was a rough night for me, and we'll get into this. So, co-main event of the evening, Carlos Condit, Matt Brown. What a fantastic fight this was, dude. Just two legends going in there and just showing their fucking heart, their full skill set, everything. Yep. And I was really impressed because Carlos Condit, to me, just hasn't looked the best. I mean, we could tell the Carlos Condit of yesteryears is gone, and that's fine. You know, that's fine. Coming with age and the wars he's been through, we don't expect too much. And he really impressed me with this Matt Brown fight because Matt Brown has shown that he still fucking got it. He's still got it. He wasn't the most impressive against Miguel Baeza, but, you know, there's a reason for that.
Yeah, there's a reason.
You know,
Baeza's undefeated.
This was the perfect matchup, and I'm glad that both men made it real competitive. Did you agree with the judges? I mean, all three judges had it 30-27. I thought Matt Brown won that first round.
Yeah, you know, there's definitely an argument for that. It was a very close round. But nonetheless, you know, I look at fights as long as the winner wins. Like,
yeah, because I did think Carlos won the third.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. So it's one of those things. But, you know, initially, I was a little like, why is this a co-main event? And then I'm like, and then I kind of sat back a little bit.
And then it happened, and it was a great fight.
Yeah, and it was a great fight. And then I was like, hold on, this is an ABC card. These two really help build the sport in a lot of ways throughout these years. I mean, both these guys have fought before 2010 in the UFC, folks. Carlos was 2009. Matt Brown was 2008. So, I mean, you look at these guys, really, they have put the UFC on their back and helping propel the sport forward. So, I was really okay with it. And then the performances was good. The fight was actually really entertaining.
The fight was really good.
It was fun. So, hats off to both of these guys. Like, they went out there and they showed up for this co-main event. So, as a fan, I'm proud of both of them.
Carlos Condit thinks he deserves a top 15 matchup.
He's still gunning for that.
Bro, fight Diego Sanchez. That's what I say. Fight Diego Sanchez.
For Diego's last fight?
For Diego's last fight. That's
like
a beautiful fight. Or Matt Brown. Matt Brown already viciously KO'd Diego Sanchez, so maybe not.
I would like that. No, but I'd like that. I'd like to see Carlos Condit versus Diego Sanchez.
I think that's a great fight. I think that's a great fight. I don't think Carlos Condit needs to be fighting a fucking anybody in the top 15 right now.
I don't think so either, man. I don't think so either. And he's only 36 years old, but when you've been taking the wars that Carlos Condit has over an 11-year span as a top professional in this organization, Father Time does catch up to everyone. It's undefeated. Father Time is undefeated, and he's gone through a lot. And I don't know if he can make another run to the title, but you got to love his heart and determination nonetheless.
Yeah, I mean, if he wants to go for it, my guy.
He has every right. I mean, what you listen to two fat guys talking about fucking fights. Hey, if that guy feels like he can do it, he can do it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I put 100 church coin on Brown. Thought he was going to come out with a sub in the third round. Didn't work out.
Yeah, so I put 200 church coin on Carlos Condit at I forget what it was, minus 160, I believe. So I net gained plus 125 for a total of 325.
Alrighty, next fight: Santiago Ponzinibio versus Lee Jinglae.
Now this to me, well, it might not be the upset of the card because there were a few upsets, but this one was the most surprising, I think, for me. We'll talk about the next fight in that was a surprise, but he's still very young, so he still's got to build. I thought it sucked for his career, but we're on this Ponzinibio fight. This was an upset to me because keep in mind Ponzinibio was top 4.
Yeah.
Okay,
dude, he was on a 7-fight win streak.
Yeah. I mean, before this fight, he was 28-3. I mean, if that tells you anything, folks, Ponzinibio was no joke. But Lee Jinglae just throws that. I believe
fucking
it was
looping left hook, dude.
He landed that right first and then hit that left and then just dropped Ponzinibio. He didn't even know where he was
so
at.
Much power. And DC's, man, you can't miss.
Yeah.
You can't miss against the power puncher. He was freaking out. So was I. I was like, oh my God. Lee Jinglae's got that fucking crazy Chinese power. Dude.
Yeah, he does. And man, that was a fight. That was a fight that he needed to win too. And he came out and he performed, dude.
And he looked fantastic. I mean, that's a fight that gets you a top 15 matchup.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Neil Magny completely outclassed you in that fight, but you know what? If you're fucking going to knock out Ponzinibio like that in front of Dana on ABC, in front of all the new fans, potentially, that's super good for you, my guy.
Against a former guy who was top 4.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I wouldn't be surprised if they match him up with a guy that's ranked. I mean, just to think of a guy off the top of my head, I love maybe a Robbie Lawler or a Belal Muhammad fight. And Belal Muhammad's actually the name that actually screams out to me.
Remember the name?
And he's a funny motherfucker, too.
Funny.
He is a funny motherfucker. Have you ever listened to Remember the Show?
I have not, no.
Okay, I got to check it out, too. It's an Anik Florian affiliated podcast. Oh. Anik's twin brother is on there. Yep. Stoner Anik is what I call him.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind him, fighting a guy like Robbie Lawler or Belal Muhammad. I think those are both good matchups.
Yeah, why not? Why not? Poor Belal just fighting these massive, giant dudes that are cutting so much fucking weight and can knock you out in one punch. But you know what? He finds a way to fucking win, and I'd love to watch that matchup. So I did not take Jinglae. I had all that trust in Ponzinibio. I thought he was going to come out and show out. Didn't happen. Lost 100 church coin there.
All right, and I picked Lee Jinglae. I put 200 church coin on him at a plus 230 or plus 240. So I gained 660 in total with a 460 winnings.
Beautiful. Joaquin Buckley, Alessio Di Chirico. This was a shock. This was the upset of the night.
Now, this was probably the upset of the night. Yeah, I would say so. I think I was a little more impressed with Jinglae, but, Joaquin Buckley coming off that huge knockout and then getting a win just a couple months ago. And this Italian guy, this Chirico guy,
Never heard of him.
No, never heard of him. This was definitely the upset of the night.
Yeah.
But, Joaquin Buckley, he's young. He's young, and he just got caught with that head kick.
Well, he ducked down, and it looked almost like the guy threw a body kick, but the way he ducked down just landed clean right on the top of his head. Just, you don't want to see a guy fall like that, because that's when you tear your ACL and shit. I mean, his leg got bent back under itself.
Yeah, it did.
Well, you see that happen all the time when guys get knocked out and they fall backwards. Yeah. Hopefully his knee's okay. He was hanging out, dancing, chilling the other night, so, maybe everything's fine. We'll find out. But, yeah, that's a scary knockout. I mean, he was flatlined there for a second. He kind of came right back, too. Yeah, but a head kick like that, man, like, just out of nowhere, like, that was wild. I freaked out. I did not expect that.
No.
I mean, a guy that's coming on a three-fight losing streak, and then you're going to knock out a guy that's got all the momentum in the world in the first round. I mean, that's got to be such a fucking relief.
That was huge for Alessio Di Chirico, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, and let's talk a little bit about what he had to say after the fight. I mean, he kind of said, I don't want to talk. I don't want to give a post-fight interview. I don't like that you guys don't talk to the losers. And then he just kind of walked off. John and Nick's like, oh, well, Alessio Di Chirico, everybody. and then he goes and he does a press conference right afterwards, and they're like, Alessio, how excited are you after that crazy upset? I mean, you must be really excited, right? And he goes, I just don't feel like doing this interview, guys. I don't like that you wouldn't have talked to me if I didn't win. And then he just gets up and leaves.
Yeah, there is an argument to be made there, but also when you knock out someone, we had that situation with DC. We've had that situation with Alistair Overeem, where Overeem's like, no, I wasn't out. And then they're like, watch the tape, buddy. But that's not Overeem's fault. Like, you got to understand, like, people who have never been punched, who have never been rocked, who have never been knocked out, don't understand that you're a little loopy. You're not all there, dude. So it's like, to get on these fighters' cases when that does happen, I understand why the UFC was like, okay, maybe we don't interview the losers necessarily. They did interview Kattar, but that was because it went to decision, so there was no trauma.
Well, I mean, there's been plenty of examples like where if you're a lesser known fighter, which this Alessio Di is, and then you lose your fight, unanimous decision, and get knocked out, whatever, they're not interviewing you. No, they're only going to interview the war. He's kind of mad. I mean, he was on a 3-fight losing streak, and he never got talked to once. Nobody gave a shit about him or his career. So, I mean, I understand the chip and the ice on the shoulder, I guess.
I understand it to a point, but you had one opportunity
you
to
need to fucking win your fights, dude.
Well, yeah, but you also had an opportunity to have everyone know your name to get more recognition. What if he would have called out someone? Said, I'm here to play. I was on a skid. Like, there's so many story elements you could have used here.
Yeah.
To build your brand, to build who you are, and instead, he didn't want to say anything.
Yeah, 100%.
I get it to a point, but come on, dude. Come on.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Let's move on. Oh, no. I took Buckley. I fucking put 500 church coins on him. Jesus.
Brutal.
Oh, that one hurt, dude.
Yeah, I bet.
I mean, I remember we were doing the preview show. I was like, this is a sure win, guys. This is a sure win. Bet the fucking house on Buckley. And Jesus, I should not.
Never in MMA, man. Never in MMA. I picked Buckley as well. I put 250 church coins, so you can subtract that from my winnings.
Yeah. Leahy Serrano versus Dusko Tavorovic. This was a fucking fantastic fight for as long. I mean, let's just talk about Dusko before the knockout happened. Dude, he looked good. He looked very good, smooth, slick, was making him miss, shucking and jiving, hitting him with quick jabs, nice kicks. He looked like he was about to take this fight over completely and just dismantle Serrano, and all it took was just that big looping fucking right hand.
Yep.
Well, I mean, it wasn't even a looping right hand. It was one of the first straights that he threw. DC said that, man, if he just stopped looping and throwing everything in his punches and started throwing on some nice straight ones, he might connect. Throws 2 straights, knocks him the fuck out.
Yeah.
I mean, he got multiple knockdowns, but I mean, it was very apparent that Leahy has got fucking missiles in his hands, dude.
For sure.
Missiles.
For sure. It was a great fight as long as it lasted. But yeah, that's pretty much, I mean, you pretty much talked about everything I was going to. I mean, it was a pretty fast fight. This fight was over in the first round. For me, I guess I'll go to my, I picked, it's so hard for me to say his name. Tavorovic, thank you so much. I'm a little slow. 150 church coins, so you can subtract that from my winnings.
Yeah, I put 100 on Serrano, so I finally made a little bit of cheddar.
Nice, and you got a plus on that too.
Yeah, it was a plus 140, so what? Made 40.
Yeah, man.
I'll take it. I'll take the 40. I'll take the 40 after losing fucking 500 in that last fight. All right. I think it's some MMA news time, Mason.
Okay. Let's do it.
I mean, this was supposed to be like the biggest news story ever. It was hyped up to be the biggest reveal of the year, early in the year, and Jesus, what a fucking nothing burger it became.
It was so funny because I was going on Twitter. I was kind of looking, and Dana's like, "Oh, the meeting's happening."
Yeah, the meeting.
It's gonna happen. We're gonna get all the answers we want. This is gonna be like Michael Jordan coming out of retirement 2.0.
Exactly.
The world is gonna be shocked.
LeBron James, the decision.
The decision 2.0. Right. And you are right. What a nothing burger this was. We literally got no answer. And then Dana, I love Dana White. I really do. I give him a lot of praise. But he comes out, does an interview with John Anik, and like, what did Habib say? The world is waiting. He's like,
you look on his face, it looked like he did not want to say anything. He's like, I don't want to be here. I should have canceled.
Yeah, he's like, I should have had the meeting. Habib didn't give me anything. I'm actually terrified of Habib myself. I don't want to irritate him because he will smash me.
He actually choked me out earlier.
Yeah, he actually did. Yeah, he's like, you see this red and purple mark on my neck? Yeah, I'm just not asking him again. No, but Dana White pretty much came out and just said, someone's got to impress him.
Yeah.
I was like, hold on. So that whole meeting, all this hype, all this lead up, and Habib saying, well, I'm retired, but if something excites me, then I'm going to come out of retirement. And I was like, no.
I know. It's like
I just wanted an answer, dude. I wanted an answer so bad. It does give us optimism as MMA fans to see Habib come back and be in because if Habib comes back, Habib wins. Okay. Yeah. The Conor fight, they're trying like hell to hype up that Conor. Oh, Conor's got to get through Dustin Poirier, folks. We'll talk about that in our preview show, but he's got to get past him, okay? And then even if he does get past him, I want you guys to know you heard it first here from the Church of MMA, from Mason himself.
Not fighting Habib.
But even if he does fight Habib, this shit is going to happen the exact same way. It'll probably happen even sooner. Conor's he's going to get taken down, and he's going to get smashed, and then he's going to get submitted. Yeah. Okay? Nothing changes here. So you can throw all the money, all the hype around the world. You can do a world tour for this fucking fight, and it's going to end the same way it did the first time. I mean,
100%.
come on. So the question remains. Dana White was talking about other fights. We got that Michael Chandler fight versus Dan Hooker. Dan Hooker could potentially be a really good matchup for Habib if he wins that fight and he comes out in impressive fashion. But the one I want to see, the one that you and I have talked about, and it came out of Habib's mouth, which I love this fight. This is the one I want to see outside of anyone else after his dominant performance against one of the greatest lightweights, Tony Ferguson, okay? And that is Charles Oliveira. We must see that fight. Yep. We have to see that fight. If Habib comes back, you got to take him on because after seeing the jiu-jitsu performance and just the top pressure of Charles Oliveira, we got to see it. We got to see that fight. So my question to you, out of all those fighters, who would you most want to see Habib matched up against?
Easy. You just said it. Charles Oliveira. It's the only fucking fight to make. I mean, dude, he already beat Justin Gaethje. He already beat Dustin Poirier. He would completely outclass Dan Hooker, unfortunately. I mean, he'd take him down and smash him.
And I think that too.
It's going to same thing. You just said it with Conor. It's Charles Oliveira or it's bust. Dana apparently came out and said there's no GSP fight. It's not happening, guys. Sucks because, that was kind of like the golden goose we all held on to for a very long time.
It is what it is.
You're exactly right. It is what it is. So it's Oliveira or bust, in my opinion. It doesn't matter if Dan Hooker comes out and just viciously KOs Michael Chandler. I don't want to see that Dan Hooker fight. I'm sorry, Dan Hooker. I mean, I'm not to say you probably wouldn't deserve it, but kind of you don't. You just lost to Dustin Poirier, and not in a very close fight, I would say. He pretty much outclassed you in those last 3 rounds, and he made it look very, I don't want to say easy, but he had a very good performance, dude. He had a very good performance.
You got to give him a little credit, though, because that was such a fun fight. It was
a very fun fight. And the second round was one of the best rounds of all time.
Absolutely. Yeah. Might have been the best round ever.
Yeah, it's just, I just don't like that matchup, dude. I mean, when it comes down to who's fighting Habib next, it's Charles Oliveira or it's like fucking Tony Ferguson. Yeah, that's what, yeah. Never happened.
It's no longer Tony. I think the answer is right in front of everyone's face. And I get the whole money aspect, the business aspect of, Conor, the first time he wasn't ready.
That's what they want. They're pushing so hard for it. I don't get it, dude. It's like he's just gonna lose again. And if for some fucking crazy fucked up world, which is what we live in, so you never know, I guess. Yeah. I mean, the Browns were looking like they could have win.
Yeah.
You never know.
You never know.
You never fucking know. So if Conor does beat Habib, I mean, is he gonna defend the belt? I don't think so.
No, bro. He'll sit on it for a year.
And he gave
$1 billion.
Habib shit in this interview over it.
Okay. That's what I want to jump into next.
Yeah, let's talk about the interview.
Let's talk about this because there are so many things to dissect from this interview.
Yes.
go ahead and start with your first point because I'm going to make a point after you.
Well, he pretty much, Conor in this interview came out and said Habib's scurrying away. He doesn't want to fight me in this rematch. Like, oh, it makes me laugh. Makes me laugh. That's really what it does. It's fucking retarded. But, so I'm sorry. What was my point in the first time? So it was, I've completely lost my train of thought.
That's okay.
I
do that
completely
sometimes.
lost my
Let me
train of
talk
thought.
about this though, because there was one glaring point of this interview where I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I'm sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
It finally came back. Conor said that I'm losing it again,
Habib?
dude. I'm losing it again. I can't believe it.
So I will go then.
Yeah,
All right.
you go. Just
so
go.
look, this is where I sit with
did he
this.
say?
When I listened to this interview, I could not fucking believe that he said that in all technicality, Habib is still not the lightweight champion of the world. No. You want to know how he is, Conor McGregor? Okay? I love everything that you did for the sport, but you want to know how? You're a sore loser if that's really what you think. I know you're trying to promote the fight. I know you're trying to do what you got to do. But come on, that is the most absurd thing I've ever heard in the world. You want to know why? Because if I remember correctly, I remember seeing you in the 4th round tap out. Therefore, by default, Habib Nurmagomedov is the champion. I don't care if they wrap the belt around his waist. You want to know why they didn't? Because they didn't want to incite a fucking riot inside their arena. That's exactly why they didn't do it. Because both parties flipped the fuck out and started fighting each other. You know, we got the flying eagle, and Dylan Dennis all like scared out of his fucking mind. Okay, look, that is absurd. Habib is the champion. And since then, he has defended his belt. It is the most absurd thing in the world to have Conor McGregor say that. And here's the thing. Ariel Helwani, I love Ariel Helwani. I really do. I think he has done so much for the sport with the MMA Hour way back in the day. He has done so much, and I listen to him every week. But dude, sometimes Ariel irritates the fuck out of me when it comes to Conor McGregor because he doesn't challenge him on anything that he says.
Dick licks, dude. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he does. He does, and he always makes excuses for Conor McGregor. And I'm like, dude, in that interview, how do you not say, come on, Conor. You know he's the champion. He has since defended his belt. How do you not say anything? How do you let that shit slide?
Yeah.
Like, that's just, it's so absurd to me. Like,
Well-
are we living in the
well,
upside down?
this
I
is-
feel like we're getting gaslit.
Yeah, well, this is what I forgot. I can't believe I fucking forgot it because it's the biggest thing ever. Conor said that Habib deserves to get stripped. Like, I can't believe I forgot that twice, and it's the biggest thing ever. He said he deserves, it's been long enough. He deserves to get stripped. Dude, you had the belt for 2 fucking years.
And didn't do shit
And
with it.
that's why I forgot it, because I think I got so angry. I was just seeing red for a second. Just thinking about it. You had the belt for 2 years. They didn't strip you. You didn't fucking fight. You lost to Floyd Mayweather, and then you fucking got stripped finally. After a year and a half later, they've completely fucked Tony Ferguson's career because of you. Specifically.
Yep. So I don't want to hear it from Conor. I don't want to hear it at all. And you know what, Conor? Why are you talking about so much about Habib? Don't you have a Savage in Dustin Poirier? I don't think, like, why are you talking so much about Habib in an interview that you should be talking about your opponent, who is no fucking joke in this lightweight division? No joke at all. Who has literally decimated this division since losing to Habib at UFC 242. He has absolutely dominated the competition. I do not understand why Habib is even being brought up in these interviews right now. Like, why? What is the purpose? It's because they want to promote, they want to sell this fight. But dude, he's got to get through Dustin Poirier first. He's got to get through Dustin first.
They think he's just going to starch him.
They
must think he's going to start.
I
in
don't
20
think that at
seconds.
all. I think
don't
people
think
are
that either.
grossly underestimating Dustin Poirier in this fight. Grossly underestimating him. I really do.
Yeah, 100%.
It's just, it baffles my mind. They want this fight so bad that they're delusional about it.
Yeah.
That they're already bringing it up in interviews.
Yeah. It's all they
I don't
want.
know. It's just so stupid.
all they want.
That shit does irritate me. That does irritate me, this whole Conor thing.
You know,
and like, don't get me wrong, because I do want to clarify here. Conor is one of the greatest lightweights in the world. Okay, he is. And I believe that. Okay, but to just like look through all the competition to try to get back to Habib Nurmagomedov is ridiculous, and I won't stand for it. Like, I won't. I'm not going to not call that out. That's absurd.
I mean, calling for him to be stripped and shit. Not saying he's a real champ. Saying that he thinks he's the real champ.
Stupid.
Like, come on, you beat Donald Cerrone.
Come on, bro. You tapped out in the 4th round. Like, everyone saw
To
it.
a fucking neck crank to some fucking white belt shit.
Yeah,
like, I'm
exactly.
sorry.
A
It's
neck
some
crank.
white belt
Yeah.
shit.
It's like, come on, dude. Come on. Like, no. No, everyone saw that. I can go watch it on Fight Pass. I can probably pull it up on YouTube, for Christ's sake. You lost that fight.
Yeah, it's irritating. I just don't get the Connor shit, dude. I really don't. It's super irritating. And people think we're fucking Connor dick riders on this channel at times.
No, I'm not. I call Connor out all the time.
It's so funny with the comment section at times.
I know, dude. They think we are, and we talk a lot of... Well, I mean, when we see fit, we talk shit.
We just, and that's all we do lately because that's all Connor's been giving us.
You know what?
Stuff to talk shit about.
I'm going to quote that on our t-shirt. We talk shit when we see fit.
It's a good one. It's a great one. Let's move on to some other stuff.
Yeah.
Dana White came out and said Francis Ngannou and Stipe Miocic 2 is essentially done for March 27th. They have 2 pay-per-views in March, UFC 260 with let's just stick on that. Finally, it was a conspiracy theory there for a bit. No one thought it was going to happen. Everyone thought it was essentially lizard people.
Yeah. Essentially, but we are finally getting it on March 27th, UFC 260. We are getting the long-awaited rematch. And you know what, Francis Ngannou, I don't care what anyone says, he has won 4 straight since losing to Stipe Miocic back in 2018, folks. We are in 2021. This is a new Francis Ngannou. People seem to forget this man came from the sand mines, okay? He had less than 5 years of fighting experience under his belt when he took on the heavyweight champion of the world, Stipe Miocic, okay? The consensus greatest heavyweight of all time.
Yep.
Let's give him a little grace. Since then, he has knocked out 4 straight in the first round. This man deserves the next title shot, and I am so glad that Francis Ngannou is finally getting another opportunity and another crack at the belt.
Yeah, I can't wait for this fight. It's going to be a fucking fantastic fight. I mean, does this go the way of the first fight? Maybe. Does it go a completely different direction? Francis has just got that touch of death, dude. It comes down to that.
Unquestionably.
The touch of fucking death. But we have to remember he had that touch of death going into this first fight, and we all saw what happened. So it's a very interesting matchup. Can Stipe find success again? I don't know, and I just can't wait to find out. I really can't.
Here's my prediction, my early prediction. We'll jump into it in March. I'm just kind of giving you an early one. If Stipe gets out of the second round, he wins the fight.
Yeah,
if the first and second round are going to be Stipe's, and obviously everyone knows this.
And it was the same narrative coming into the first fight, really. Yeah, I mean, it's the exact same narrative.
Yeah, you're right. It's the exact same as the first one. If Stipe can get out of the second round, then yep, he wins the fight.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that's what
we'll see. We'll see what happens.
I can't wait, dude. I can't wait. This heavyweight division has just been screaming for some fucking fights, dude, and exciting ones. And Francis Ngannou puts on the most exciting fights in the most exciting division at times. So I can't wait.
Since we're talking about the heavyweight division, we must talk about the photos of Jon Jones at 250. Holy fuck, does he look shredded and does he look big? Have you seen those photos on Twitter? Mm-mm. Okay, so he posted photos about 2 or 3 days ago.
He's 250 pounds shredded?
He's 250 pounds, and he looks like a meat gobbler, dude.
That's big because Stipe is only 230.
Bro, yeah, no, he's big. If you can pull up Jon Jones' Twitter, you absolutely have to see this. And see, this is why, like, I am so excited that Jon Jones went up to heavyweight because he will take on the winner of this fight. And I don't care either way. What if Stipe goes out there and knocks out Francis Ngannou? That's going to be the biggest fight of all time. Jon Jones versus the greatest heavyweight of all time, Stipe Miocic. Or if Ngannou goes out there and wins the belt against Jon Jones, wins the belt against Miocic and then gets Jon Jones. Either fight I am clamoring for, dude. So I just cannot wait.
Yeah, it looks like he's definitely not on no vegan diet.
Yeah, no. He ain't on no vegan shit.
He's not on no vegan diet.
No, he's eating 5 pounds of steak a day. Are you kidding me or what?
Yeah, he's looking thick.
Meaty,
but I mean, that can be a fucking double-edged sword, dude. I mean, a lot of people talk about if you're getting too heavy, it could be a disadvantage. Will he carry that speed, that light heavyweight speed he did have at 205? If he's a 250 jacked, we'll see. I mean, if that's, he must be thinking, oh, it's Francis Ngannou. I mean, if you're going to try and take that behemoth down, you got to be fucking thick. You got to have some fucking muscle on, so maybe that's what he's thinking. But Stipe Miocic, 250 might be too much. Because Stipe comes in at 231, fast as fuck, light as fuck, really fights like a light heavyweight. That's why he's so successful in there. It's an interesting matchup.
Yeah, it is an interesting matchup, but what I will say in defense of Jon Jones, which don't make me defend Jon Jones, he's got brothers in the NFL, Chandler Jones and the other one, I forget.
Oh, yeah. They're all athletic.
They're all huge.
Yeah.
They're all fucking 265. And you see these fuckers move around the field, and you're like, they're lightning quick. He has got that athleticism that I don't think this will be a slow 250. I think this will be for the division, I think it'll be a very fast and powerful Jon Jones. Jon Jones, man, could very well win that belt and hold it for a very long time. Mm-hmm. I really believe that. Like, he could be the greatest heavyweight champion of all time as well. And what a story that would be, man. Out of all the craziness of John Jones, like love him or hate him, and you've heard it from us time and time again. We will shit on John Jones when he deserves it, but there is unquestionably, I will tune into every fight. And as far as an MMA fan, I love watching John Jones. I tune in. I don't care if I love him or hate him. I do not care, man. He is one of the most entertaining fighters and the GOAT of the sport.
Yeah,
the GOAT of the sport. Him and Khabib. So.
Yeah. So it's looking like the co-main event of that card is going to be Volkanovski versus Ortega. It is not a done deal like the Stipe fight is, but it is in the works for co-main. This is looking like a great card. March is going to be fucking fantastic because remember, March is the Israel card. Mm-hmm. And then you're coming into Stipe Francis too in the same fucking month. Oh my goodness.
This is insane, man. The fights that the UFC are putting on are so incredibly
it's masterful.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Amazing. Like, you can tune in each and every week to the UFC, and you are going to see
the best in the world.
The best in the world. Week in and week out. I love this sport. I love this fucking podcast.
Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait for March. March is looking fantastic.
God, I cannot wait.
Let's talk a little bit about someone's certain future. I mean, people have been talking about Nick Diaz and all that. Mm-hmm. And, Nick Diaz returning seems a little out of bounds, in my opinion. I don't see that happening, but this one definitely does happen. His little brother, Nate Diaz, is set to return this year. Dana White says they're trying to get him a fight. It's probably going to be a top contender in this lightweight division, and a win over this certain person that he has in mind could get him right in the mix for a title shot.
Yeah, and this is in the lightweight division, too. We got to talk about that. Yeah,
he said it was lightweight.
Diaz has been fighting at 170 for a little while now.
Mm-hmm. Well, remember, he was scheduled to fight Dustin Poirier at that New York card 2 years ago. Fell through. Dustin Poirier got injured. Mm-hmm. So it's not like a lightweight return is completely out of the question for Nate Diaz. So I'm very interested in who it might be.
Yeah, let's talk about the matchups, because I think it's one of two fighters, all right? And I know one of these fighters is your boy. Okay, and that's Paul Felder. Absolutely. I think it's either going to be Paul Felder or RDA. Think about RDA, what his trajectory right now, and coming off that last impressive win.
RDA sitting at 7.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a big fight, and it's a big name, and it's an established name. They've fought in once before, and it's a rematch Nate might want back. I mean, he did get stroked with those leg kicks. Yep. So, RDA is calling him out too.
Yeah, because Hooker's already booked. McGregor's already booked. Ferguson's just coming off that loss.
Yeah, but I wouldn't be shocked if he's waiting to see what happens with this little round-robin tournament we got going. Maybe he fights a loser of a Dustin Poirier, Conor McGregor.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah,
because if Conor loses, Nate's the fight to make.
I mean, to be honest, dude, the fight that screams at me, it's Nate Diaz, Tony Ferguson, dude.
You think so?
That's the fight that screams at me. I mean, let's talk. If you're going to beat Tony Ferguson, you're right in line for a title.
Yeah, but Tony's...
It's the way it's been.
Yeah,
Tony's
it's a couple...
I know it's 2 straight, but you have to remember 12-fight winning streak beforehand. Yeah. The first loss he had was for a title, and now Oliveira is eventually going to go on to the belt. So Tony is still a top 5 guy. He's number 5 in the world at the moment. He should be number 4, I believe, above Conor McGregor. That's the only name above him that I don't agree with. Is Conor McGregor.
Yeah, and I don't disagree. I'm not sitting here saying that.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're getting him set up for a top 5 or right away a top 5 matchup, it's Tony Ferguson, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't necessarily disagree with that. I just wonder if that is the matchup, because you'd almost want to, I think, push him a little harder. But Tony Ferguson's a good matchup at top 5. That very well could happen. But there's one other piece of news, and it just struck me, just seeing Nate Diaz's name and then Nick Diaz, that they essentially, and this is a huge, huge improvement for the sport. This should have been done years ago, but USADA is officially, or not banned, but they've officially just pretty much said marijuana is fair use.
Yeah, I totally forgot
about that. Which I love that. That's huge news for this sport, and that's what should be happening. Look, folks, whether or not you agree with marijuana or not, these people are getting punched in the face. They are getting swollen, black and blue, broken arms, broken orbital bones. I think a little CBD or smoking a little marijuana is not the worst thing in the world after getting, going into the toughest sport in the world. They need this stuff to recover, or they need this stuff, during training, because people forget. You still get kicked. You still spar unless you're a savage like Max Holloway and don't even need to spar before a fight.
And he proved that sparring's for fucking Neanderthals. We're evolved above this. We've progressed.
Yeah, it's insane.
My take on this whole thing is, what are they going to do about the guys they've already suspended, like a Nico Price? He's been suspended for several months now. I mean, is his suspension just over?
No.
Okay, what are they going to do to pay him back for all those months he couldn't make money and he wanted to fight? He's a guy that fights 5-6 times a fucking year, and now What are you going to do about these guys that have already been suspended? Like, are they staying suspended, or is just the suspension over? Like, that's my question.
Here's the thing. Let's look at the history of USADA. Let's look at the history. Josh Barnett comes to mind.
Yes.
Okay.
That's a great one.
He was fucked over.
Completely.
For 2 years. He didn't get that time back.
Mm-hmm. John Jones fucking did.
John Jones did. Yeah, right. They'll make special occasion, right, for certain people.
Yeah.
But a guy like Nico Price, like, unfortunately, you just have to sit out, and then no longer will you get banned for that. And I agree with you. He should not have been banned. None of these fighters should have been banned. And if so, it should be completely decriminalized, or whatever you call it, suspension, and they should immediately be reinstated back into the UFC, able to fight today. But unfortunately, that's not how things work.
Yep.
And so they're just going to have to sit out their suspensions because it was the rule before they, gave it the green light. So it is what it is. They're just going to have to sit out their suspensions.
It is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is, brother.
Yeah, fucking sucks. Let's get into our preview show, Mason.
Let's do it.
I can't wait for this card. I mean, it's not the main event we all wanted. We all know this, but it's going to be a fucking fantastic main event, dude. I mean, this is a big fight for this welterweight division. This is going to set up a lot of big fights in the future, the winner of this fight card. So Michael Chiesa, Neil Magny. Let's start at the top. How do you see this fight going down, essentially? I mean, and Michael Chiesa is coming in at a plus 115 underdog, and Neil Magny's minus 135, very close on the odds.
Yeah, I think Vegas has got it pretty right on, because if I were to kind of break this fight down, I would say it's a very, very close fight.
Yeah.
It's an interesting matchup, too. We've seen Chiesa's jiu-jitsu. We know what he can do on the ground.
Yeah.
But Chiesa's just not one versatile. He's very versatile, right? So he can beat you on the feet. He can beat you on the ground.
Yeah, he's very well rounded.
But Neil Magny, man, to try and take Neil Magny down, good luck. And Neil Magny's striking has looked so impressive after his resurgence in this division, after that 18-month layoff.
Yeah.
He has looked better than ever, with a lot of impressive wins. I think this fight's going to be very close, man. And I do not, in my personal opinion, I do not see this fight being finished. I really think this will go to the judges' scorecard.
I agree there. I do think it goes all 3 rounds. I mean, really, how do you... I mean, I guess you have to ask yourself...
Is this 3 or 5?
This is 5 rounds, sorry.
Yeah,
So
okay.
I think this goes all 5 rounds.
Yeah.
I mean, where do you see this fight going? I mean, if it goes down to the ground, you have to give Michael Chiesa the clear jiu-jitsu advantage.
absolutely.
I feel like he's proven to be a jiu-jitsu ace. That's what he does. That's his game plan. He wants to get people down. He'll pull guard if he has to. Neil Magny's ground game is very, very dangerous as well.
Yes, it is.
So it's not like just going down to the ground with Neil Magny is a given for him. It really isn't. He's very, very good. And I would love to see these jiu-jitsu transitions. And that's kind of what I'm most excited for in this fight, is seeing how Neil Magny does with the jiu-jitsu of this caliber of Chiesa. So if this stays on the feet, I'm just going to go with Neil Magny, dude. I think he's going to be way better on the feet. I just have not seen the crispness, the cleanness, the fluidity and striking from Chiesa that I have seen him from Magny, especially in his latest fight. I mean, that Lee Jinglae fight was fucking amazing. What an incredible performance Neil Magny put on him. So I wouldn't be shocked if he found a way to replicate that. I'm just going to give you my pick right now. I'm going to throw 300 church coins down. I need to start making some fucking money back after that last week. I got completely murdered. So 300 church coins down on Neil Magny. I think this goes all 5 rounds. I wouldn't be shocked if this is a one-sided fight. I'm not saying all 5-round domination, but Neil Magny is looking very good. I'm going to put some eggs in his basket.
Okay. The last time, and this is very interesting, going back in their records, obviously I do believe, I agree with you, Michael Chiesa has the advantage on the ground. It's a matter of getting it to the ground. But Rafael Dos Anjos had success with Neil Magny back in 2017, ended up submitting him in the first round. But since then...
Chiesa manhandled RDA too.
Right. So... my question here is, if Michael Chiesa can get this thing to the ground, I think he very well could win this thing. But I just got all the confidence in the world right now in Neil Magny. He has impressed me time and time again in the octagon since his resurgence. And I got to go with who I really believe is going to win this fight. I think it's going to be a close fight. I think it'll be very entertaining. I have to go with Neil Magny, and I'm going to put 200 church coin on Magny for the win.
All right. It'll be a nice little return for us. I mean, he is the favorite in this, but I mean, it's not like he's a fucking minus 400 or something like that.
Just a minus 135.
Yeah, it will be a nice little return for us on that. Let's move on to this co-main event. Warlley Alvarez and Munir Lazzez. Munir Lazzez is a guy that just shoots off the fucking... I mean, there's an asterisk by his name right off the bat. His last fight, he looked absolutely amazing. Completely outclassed the guy, dominated him on the feet.
When it was Alsan too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like a good guy.
Razak.
A very good guy. A guy that's got knockout power, and he ate punches. He got his chin tested. This was a guy that had a lot of hype coming into his UFC debut. I mean, if you're going to debut against Abdul Razak Al Hassan, like what?
Yeah,
that's your
go
debut?
out there and put out a great performance. Yeah.
Yeah, and he just completely dominates. So I have a lot of respect behind this Lizez guy. And Warley Alvarez is no fucking joke. There's no fucking joke. He's a very well-known name in this welterweight division. If it goes down to the ground, it could be a very dangerous night for Lizez. He's got that jiu-jitsu, Alvarez does. Or Alves does. Alves,
yeah.
No,
that's okay.
Who gives a shit? I'm going Lizez, dude. I'm going to put 100 church coin. I'm going with the minimum bet. I'm very high on this Lizez kid. I'm just not high enough to throw more than the minimum bet. Like, let's see him ball out in this performance. He is a big favorite at a minus 222 to a plus 180 of Warley. So I'm a little interested in this.
Yeah, Alves, to touch up on him a little bit, he's had a very back and forth kind of career. He's fought guys even like Kamaru Usman back in 2016, obviously lost to Kamaru Usman, and he's done a win one, lose one. Most notably, too, in 2018, he lost to James Krause, came back and won his next fight, but then lost the next fight, got submitted by Randy Brown, and it's just been a very tumultuous career for Alves. I am much more hyped on Lizez, and so I am putting, let me see here, I am putting 220 church coin on Lizez for the win.
Okay, be a nice little $100 return there for you. Next fight, Ike Villanueva. I have no idea if I pronounced that right. There's going to be some rough names coming up. Vinicius Morena.
Vinicius.
Man, that sounds like some Greek god shit.
Vinicius is cool. That's a dope name. Vinicius.
That is some cool shit. Am I taking him? I am. Good. Because I was about to change my pick if I wasn't. That's some cool shit. I'm going to name my kid that name.
Vinicius.
Yep. So these are both unknown guys. I mean, both of these guys are haven't won a fight.
No, they have
in the
not.
UFC. I mean, one's a contender series guy, and I think the other guy just made his debut. They have not found any success in the UFC. They're both 205ers. I don't really know these guys, so I don't really know the style matchup. So I can't really break this down too much. I think they're just going to go in and bang. That's what I would assume. Who knows? It could be a good fight. Yeah, could be a very good fight. It's very close on the odds. I mean, you got a minus 135 in Villanueva and a plus 115 in Morena. I'm going with the dog, dude. Fuck it. I'm putting 100 on Morena. Let's do it.
All right. I'm kind of the same sentiments here. I don't know too much about these two individuals here. And both looking for a win in the UFC. This is a crucial fight for both these men.
Yeah, because the loser could be on the chopping block.
Yes, unquestionably, especially with the rounds of cuts that just recently happened in the UFC. Dana White means business. If you do not win in this organization, then see you later. Go get some wins in another organization. You might come back one day on Dana White's contender series.
It's a big might.
It's a big might.
It's a big maybe.
Because we've seen some fighters never come back.
Oh,
They've won 6-7 fights in other organizations in a row. But nonetheless, I'm going to go with Villanueva here. As the slight favorite and a minus 135, I will be putting 135 church coin on Villanueva.
All right. My girl, Roxanne Modafferi, everyone's favorite girl next door. I'm just joking. I love her, though. She's awesome. Everyone loves Roxanne Modafferi. The happy warrior. How can you not get behind this?
And I feel like she's the underdog all the time, and she goes out there and just puts on
finds a way to win, dude.
Finds a way to win.
And she's fucking so upbeat and happy about everything.
Yeah, she is.
It's like, can you be a little mean, please?
I know. She's like the nicest person ever. You're like, what the fuck? You are a savage. You beat the shit out of people, and you're just like the nicest human being.
I know. It's awesome. I mean, again, she's going up against another jiu-jitsu ace. Roxanne Modafferi is known for her jiu-jitsu. This is going to be a great jiu-jitsu matchup. Guys, if you're a Brazilian jiu-jitsu fan, asterisk this fight because there are going to be some great transitions going on. And I really love watching these female jiu-jitsu aces because they're so much more flexible at times than the men. So, I mean, they get into way crazier positions, and you can see fucking full-blown arm bars being extended, and they just don't tap. I love jiu-jitsu matchups, especially ones that play out at 125 pounds. I'm very excited for this fight. Viviana Araujo has been really impressive. She really has. She ran into that hurdle of the former number one contender, Jessica Ai. But she's been very impressive in every other fight, so I have to give her the advantage. It's going to be an interesting matchup because both these girls are so good on the ground. I mean, it's really anyone's game.
Yeah.
Either girl could submit each other. I see this going all 3 rounds. I think there's going to be great transitions. Might not be the most entertaining fight, but it will be a very good one in my opinion.
So
I'm going with Araujo for 100 church coin. That's a flip-flopping fight. And even though Araujo's a big favorite, dude.
Yeah, she is.
She's a big favorite. Yeah, minus 330 to a plus 260. Dude, I might switch that. A plus 260 for Roxanne Modafferi. That's very reminiscent of the Micey. Remember, what was she, like a plus 3,000 or something?
It was
it was ridiculous.
Odds.
It was bad.
I think it was actually one of the biggest swings, one of the biggest underdogs to win in the history.
Yeah, and someone made a lot of fucking money off of Roxanne.
Absolutely. Here's the thing, man. My pick, I am done doubting Roxanne Modafferi. I'm done with it, man. Like, yeah, she goes out there, she did lose to Lauren Murphy, unfortunately, but she has gone out there and beaten some savages time and time again, man. Like, people always count her out, and she's always been this contender, this dark horse in this division. I love Roxanne Modafferi. Even though she is the plus 260 underdog, I have a lot of faith in her ability. I am going Roxanne Modafferi, and I am putting 240 church coin on the underdog, Roxanne Modafferi.
Wow.
You betcha.
Wow. Matt Chanel, Tyson Nam for the next fight. So Matt Chanel's coming in at a plus 115, Tyson Nam at a minus 135. Very close on the odds once again. These are very tightly contested fights.
Yes, they are.
And pretty good fucking matchups, I would say. Matt Chanel has been very impressive in his last few fights, and so is Tyson Nam. Tyson Nam's got sneaky power at 125 pounds, man. Sneaky power. He fucking flatlined somebody recently, so I can't remember that guy's name, but I'm a little shocked Chanel, with the better record and a little bit more UFC experience, isn't the favorite here. It does kind of shock me a little bit. I'm going with Chanel. I'm putting 200 church coin on this. I think he's going to be a little bit more well-rounded, and he might prove that there's levels of this to a Tyson.
Okay, that's interesting. I really like Tyson Nam. Since losing his debut, he has since gone on to knock out every single opponent in the first round, which has only been like 2 others. But nonetheless, still, I do like that. It's still very exciting for me. And I'm going to go with Nam here, and I'm going to put 270 church coin on Nam.
All right. Lerone Murphy, Douglas De Silva Andrade. De Silva Andrade hasn't fought since 2019. It's been a very long layoff for him. He took 2020 off, possibly because of COVID. I'm sure a lot of fighters did. There's going to be a lot of fighters coming up on our radar next few months that haven't fought in so long. Very excited for that. Can't wait for more names. So Lerone Murphy is a minus 300 to a plus 240 for Douglas De Silva. How do you see this fight going down, Mason?
Man,
it's hard.
It is hard because we haven't seen so much from Murphy. I feel like Andrade, I think he's it kind of baffles me that he's such a big underdog in this fight.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's going up against an undefeated guy, a guy who has fought more recently. So maybe he's got some recency bias and got a lot of hype behind his name. An up-and-coming guy out of the UK, out of England. So, they get a lot of hype out of England. Any guy that comes out of England and makes a name for himself gets a lot of hype behind his name. So I'm not too shocked there by the odds.
Well,
but De Silva's fucking good.
De Silva's no joke either, because he has fought guys like Petr Yan. Yes, he did lose to him. He got knocked out at the end of the second round. But he's fought guys like Marlon Vera. He has beaten Vera back in 2018. He has since gone on to win every fight, which has been 2 since then. I think the odd makers are a little crazy here to have this fight at such a crazy gap here. So I like the underdog in this fight again. I'm going to go with Douglas Silva de Andrade for 250 church coin. I am putting down at a plus 240 underdog.
All righty. I have the exact opposite pick, essentially. I'm just going to go with the minimum bet. I'm going with Murphy. He's the undefeated fighter. He's got a lot of hype behind his name. In England, they've been putting out some serious talent lately. He's coming out of a good camp with a lot of hype behind that camp as well. So we're going to find out. I mean, this is a big fucking test for you. I mean, this is no joke. This is a guy who probably should be ranked, but because he took so much time off, he isn't.
Yep.
So, I mean, if you get a big win over D'Andrade, who's got a lot of octagon time and a lot of experience, it's only going to propel your career. I mean, you go 10-0 coming into a top 15 matchup. It's very fucking good for you, my guy. Very fucking good. Mason, we made it.
We did.
It's that time. Another hour in the books. We're such fucking professionals. It's like we try every time to get exactly an hour.
It's almost like clockwork now, Tabor, where we hit an hour on the dot every time. Shout-outs?
Shout-outs. Give me 2 seconds because I've just fucking signed out on accident.
Oh, no worries. I will give my shout-out first and foremost. We typically don't do shout-outs for fighters, but, I just have to. I have to shout out Max Holloway. Not like he needs it, But dude, Max Holloway, that might single-handedly be one of the most impressive performances I've ever seen in this sport, and on such a huge stage like ABC, to get all of these new fans coming in now to the sport because of you, because of the fight you and Calvin Kattar put on. And I thank you for that, because this is going to be one of those fights that we look back on like a Stephan Bonner, Forrest Griffin fight where we go, oh, wow, this is really what propelled the UFC. This took it to the next stage. And that's exactly what Max Holloway and Calvin Kattar did on that main event on the first ever ABC card. It was so big for the sport. And we just thank you guys both for putting on such a great fight. And every fighter on that card, there wasn't a boring fight. There wasn't a fight where it was a snooze fest. So shout out really to all the fighters on this card. What a big historic moment for the sport. And you guys really put on all great performances. So just shout out to the fighters, man.
Yeah, shout out to the UFC for that. So my shout out goes to a YouTube commenter. Guys, go leave a comment on any of our videos, whether it's a clip of the show, our fight companion, or a full episode. Make me cringe, make me laugh, make me cry, make me anything. I'm going to shout you out. So our commenter this week is Joe Milan Soldier. I probably butchered that, but whatever. It's someone.
You probably did.
Bruh, Dustin could still win this fight. Is that Will? Oh,
yeah.
But Dustin could will this fight, but getting into he meant win.
Yeah,
Dustin could win this fight, but getting into wars only hinders your performance. Dustin gets hurt in almost every fight. That's not a good look for someone with the accuracy and power of Conor. I can't wait to get into this later. I'm not going to get into it too much, but you're right. You're right. He absolutely can win this fight, but if he is marching forward and marching into that touch of death that Conor does have, that straight left, it could end. It could end. Conor's got that touch of death, but I can't wait to get into this fight more. In our preview show, shout out to that. It will be releasing later this week. Wait for that, guys. Probably coming around Thursday. Yep. We will not be recapping this Neil Magny card coming up this week. We'll have to wait till our episode after that. Maybe we recap it in our Fight Companion. Fight Companion coming soon for this Dustin Poirier, Conor McGregor card, guys.
So tune
Make
into
sure
that.
you check it out. We're going to try to live stream it. It's not live streaming isn't capable at the moment, but as soon as we can, we will be.
Yes.
So much is coming up in the future of the show, Mason.
We now have to have 1,000 subscribers to go live. So please, guys, if you're watching this video, hit that subscription button. Let's get us up to 1,000 so we can start doing live stream Fight Companions.
Yeah, I'd love to do that. I would love to do that. Shout out to everyone that's already subscribed. Yep. If you have, make sure you tell your friends. Put this podcast on while you're doing a road trip, and people go, oh, man, what are you listening to? Who are these two cool, sexy voices that I'm hearing?
Who are these ass clowns we're listening to?
Who are these? They're just like, man, I could hear that these boys are fat.
I hear it in their voice that they eat cheeseburgers. Those fucking fat American cunts.
Don't judge me, all right?
Seriously.
Don't judge me.
We just talk about the sport.
Another one, Mason.
Yes, sir.
Another one. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and now Gab at the Church of MMA, guys. Go and follow us. Hit us up. We're posting funny memes. Hit us up.
Check out our YouTube channel too, guys. We just hit 400 subscribers. We thank each and every one of you guys. Get some church merch. You can find that link in the description below. Thank you so much for watching and listening. This is the Church of MMA. My name is Mason Knight. That is Tabor Cragen. And until next time,
peace.